Welcome to Cult Fiction. We are talking about the new show that just hit Hulu this week, Alien Earth, for fans of the Alien franchise. I would say this show has a lot of promise. So the two episodes are out. You can watch it. The first two. The rest of them are going to be coming out. I think it's going to be, if I'm not mistaken, Alex said it was an 8 episode
My
season. Is that right?
understanding, yeah.
Okay. So plenty more to look forward to. Let's jump straight into it. I just want to get my opinions out there right away. I really liked it. I really liked it. There were a couple things that were kind of silly. There's gonna be some spoilers here, so if you haven't watched the first two episodes yet, definitely watch those before you continue. I thought that Wendy's brother tangled with the alien too many times and lived.
Yeah.
I think that was
Yeah,
the biggest problem with the show, right?
yeah,
Because if you notice, it walked into that apartment where everybody was dressed
right.
Uh-huh.
like an English monarch or whatever the hell that was,
And he
uh,
killed everybody in
and
14
killed
seconds.
everybody in 10 seconds, right? Just slaughtered. Then as they're sitting at the table, like somebody's got a drink and their head's like taken off. But this dude, for some reason, he's able to
He
go toe
he
to.
he did have a dead body on top of him when that happened.
I
Perfectly
appreciated that.
camouflaged.
I appreciated that. Actually, I thought that was pretty cool. That was like, okay, I'll buy that one. But there was a couple times where the alien was just like like looking at him and his mouth open, and just enough time for somebody to throw a frisbee at it and get its attention. You know what I mean?
We're gonna
So I
find out
was,
he's a cyborg.
yeah, maybe I don't know. We'll see. But so I'm just throwing that out there. I'm just putting that out on Front Street. I'm like, okay, this dude has used up all his lives at this point, right?
Right.
Yeah,
So
right.
I don't want to see that happen again. I also want to say I really liked Wendy,
Yeah.
and I can't remember the actress's name that plays Wendy, but she did such a
Cindy
phenomenal job.
Chandler.
Cindy Chandler, she was so perfect, just pitch perfect. I know Alex is going to talk more about that, and I don't want to steal his thunder, but I really appreciated her. And I gotta say, it was great to see Timothy Oliphant. And I know that some people are going to be lukewarm on his performance because he was kind of deadpan. He's clearly a synth, right? But I thought he nailed it. Like even just the minor facial expressions and just his intonations and the way he kind of methodically looked at things. I thought he did a great job. So anyway, long story short, first two episodes I thought really good, really entertaining, and definitely homages to the original Alien in there baked into it. You can find those, the helmet and the pods and all that kind of stuff. So I'm really looking forward to the next 6 episodes. Who wants to go next?
Although,
Alex.
so, I've been pretty similar line to you. I really did like the first two episodes. I've been really cautiously optimistic about this because Noah Hawley has been the showrunner.
Hmm.
He did Fargo and Legion, and it's just sort of like he's a really, really talented guy. And so I did like the first episode overall more than the second. Like I didn't dislike the second episode, but I really liked the ideas and how
Hmm.
he was really expanding on the world and the alien universe. Because it's kind of like, I know we've had so many movies, but it hasn't really gone into a great depth about the world itself, And
Hmm.
there's always been these kind of hints here and there. But I really like this sort of corporate sort of battle for power that seems to be
Yeah.
going. It almost seems like Wayland Yutani is almost the underdog right now.
Yeah,
And just
yeah. I
sort of,
was I was really
yeah,
hoping this was going to be like the Andor of the Alien universe. You know what
right,
I mean?
yeah,
Like,
yeah. And so far, kind of seems like that's the way it's going. Yeah, I was really, like you mentioned Wendy, and I was like, yeah, I really did like the character. And it's a really, really hard balance to do with
mhm,
writing characters like this, where they're essentially children being played by adults, because
right.
you can have, they tend to either just make the children so precocious that they sound basically like adults, and they just
Right.
write them like they're adults. Or they make them like really cutesy and have catchphrases, that they repeat. But this is like a really good balance where they are just kind of immature, but they're
Mhm.
but they're kids, And that was one of the things about the second episode where, like you said, the guy seems to have too many lives with the being attacked by the alien. I think maybe we'll find out there's a reason why he's being picked to, be gestated or whatever you want to call it, instead of just being outright killed. Maybe, I don't know. But it's a really interesting idea that they brought up in the first episode about how they are human, but they are still going to lack a very, very important experience, which is adolescence. And I was like, that's a really interesting sort of angle that I don't recall really being explored before in sci-fi, where it's just sort of like, yeah, you're missing out on the human experience doing this. And it's just sort of like you're not inhuman, but you're just not really going to turn out right. You're just not. You're just going to lack all this experience. And so a lot of interesting angles there. The second one was, xeno action, which I have no problem with, right? But I was kind of like, this guy, a trillionaire, gonna send like his, experiment with it, basically children into this incredibly hostile, dangerous situation with no training. I was kind of like, really, and then, okay, I'll allow it, but it's like, and then there were a couple of times where it's like, you guys have guns right now that should be being used. Right. Yeah, like that happened one too many times. I'll give you one where it's like the guy turns around and just sees this weird 8-foot tall thing that he can't recognize. Okay, he freezes up. But then there was like later when it was like coming out of the webbing, right? And there was like 4 people around with guns, and I'm kind of like, this is the time where like you focus on this giant wiggling thing on the ground, not the black dude in front of you.
Right. This is the part of the show where the alien gets shot.
Racism, But overall, I did really, really like it. And like I said, I've been looking forward to it mainly because Noah Hawley is the showrunner. So far, he hasn't disappointed. I think that I remember Eric said about Daredevil. He had like some Daredevil action, and then like it's gonna be like 3 or 4 episodes of like non-Daredevil action. It's gonna be like lawyer stuff. I think now what we're gonna do is probably 4 or 5 episodes of no real hostile xeno encounters. So we're gonna go into the stuff about Wayland Yutani,
it's gonna be corporate espionage stuff happening now.
The other aliens, the other biological life forms, and then probably episode 7 and 8 will be Carnage again. So I'm really looking forward to right now how they're going to expand on the world and the setup that they have right now.
100%.
As far as 2 episodes go, I'm pretty hooked. A lot can happen in 6 episodes, but as of right now, I think they delivered as far as expanding on the world and the lore, in a way that I find interesting, and I want to know more about it. And they've given us some really good action sequences too, and like for the sort of terror episode, whatever you want to call it. So it's like, okay, 2 for 2, but that guy can't escape anymore. That's it. And then like I don't want to see the people making any more like really stupid decisions. Like, I'll just send these children into this situation.
They could have had a little bit more of a reason to do that. Like there was an urgency of some kind. He wanted the information on the ship or something, and so he had to act. Like I agree with you that there could have been a better rationale for that. Joe, let's get your take on this.
I mean, so I like the world building a lot of this show immensely. I'm really intrigued by that. The Alien franchise has suffered a lot from continuity issues. I think we've seen with like Prometheus and the one with the baby that you guys all hated the end of it, which I actually I never watched the end of that because of you guys.
Yeah, good. That was what was that? That was not Requiem. What was it? Romulus.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Romulus ends 10 minutes before the credits roll.
I still haven't seen the end of it. So I think
Did you watch the rest of it? Did you watch the movie and then you stopped it at the end?
I did.
Good.
Oh.
Good man.
Smart man.
It was
good man.
It was by accident, but I was like,
I thought Romulus was really good up until that stupid ending, but I mean, I thought it was well done.
I enjoyed it, but I think Predator and Alien both have this same issue because they're old franchises that had this whole rebirth where they were trying to build upon this story that was told so many decades ago. and you're missing certain continuity issues that make it really hard to line up with this giant missing story. So with this show, it takes place 2 years before the first Alien, which
Mhm.
also gives me some issues, but I still like the world building they're doing. I really enjoy everything that I'm seeing on the screen, like a lot. You have your
Mhm.
synths, you have your cyborgs, and the third ones I can't remember. I tried to remember before we started, but
Hybrids.
I was
hybrids.
going to say halvesies.
Yeah.
Halvesies works, yes. Um, all of that's super cool. It does kind of take away from like Ripley's fight because her whole thing was keeping aliens away from getting to Earth, and they're on Earth 2 years before the first Alien takes place. But if you're in space, light years away, you don't know that, so you still have to
Right.
fight them.
Yeah.
So I'm totally I get that. I get that. Um, talking about the
So
brother.
real quick, I wanted to ask a question because since you
Yeah,
brought up the timeline, and I don't know if anybody knows the answer to this, but I heard that too, that this takes place 2 years before the first Alien movie, right?
yeah.
I know it takes place
Now,
Okay.
before it, but I don't know specifically when. But yeah, it sounds right.
It's two
Yeah.
years.
so my question is, if it takes place 2 years before Ripley shows up, are they asleep? Are they like in space asleep? Like, is this?
Probably.
I'm thinking
My
That's what would be
maybe,
my
assumption. That's my
guess.
Yeah,
assumption. Yeah.
yeah.
right? So
And
maybe,
that's why what Bueller says is totally conceivable, which is they could have slept right through all of this. They
mhm.
have no idea that this even
And
happened on
it
Earth.
makes me think that the way they're going to tie it in is that they're going to
Mm.
say, we want to know the planet that this specimen came from, and we're going to send this cargo freighter
Yeah.
to go check it
Yeah.
out,
Because
right?
what I think is happening is there's going to be this outbreak, but nobody is going to live or know
Right.
that this is like a xenomorph. It's going to be the cover story. There'll be all these other alien organisms that are on the ship. And so it's not going to be known that there was a
Yeah.
xenomorph on Alien.
Right.
But Wayland Yutani obviously is going to figure it out. I don't know if they're going to
Right.
survive this sort of corporate war or whatever's going to happen.
Well, they have to because
Yeah.
they're in, they're in
Yeah,
the
yeah.
movies.
So,
And see
I mean,
that's what I
I
like
don't know
too.
what's going to happen with the other companies and everything. So, but yeah, so people have been saying that that can't happen. That USDNOs can't show up, and it's like, yeah, they can. Like one can show up in some areas.
Sure.
I remember even as a kid when I watched Alien, I thought they had to know what was there, otherwise they wouldn't have sent them over there
Exactly.
and said that if the crew is expendable, just bring this back.
So
They
Right.
they
wouldn't
could
do that
like
on a whim.
redirect it or something possibly.
Right.
Right.
Exactly. And I think that's what happened. Like when they wake up, they're like, we've been, we're off course and we're waking up early. Like, what's going on?
So what I like about what Alex said was that they do showcase the other aliens, like the tick ones that obviously sucked the blood completely
Yeah.
out of the guys.
They certainly did suck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the
Bad
eyeball
way to
one that was
go.
in the cat. Like you're getting like this. We know the xenomorphs, but they're showing the deadly properties of these other aliens that came back on this
They're
vessel.
showing that there are other places in the universe that super suck as
Yeah.
well, right?
Yeah, big time, big time. So the things that I thought were kind of silly. First off, what's his name? His name is Boy something. The guy who's in charge.
Oh yeah, Boy Cavalier or something
Boy
like that.
genius.
The boy genius, who's like, I'm not doing this for money. I'm not doing this for ego. And
Yeah.
then he goes on to explain why he's doing it for ego.
Right,
I
right,
thought
Yeah,
that
I hated that whole
Right.
that
monologue.
whole
Yeah.
monologue was shit. The spaceship crashing into the Stargate and then crashing into Earth, like none of you, we have all this technology and nobody knew this was coming. There was no way to know this giant vessel was crashing in through our atmosphere. Are you fucking kidding me? You want me to believe that we have all of this going on this planet right now, but no radar detection to know this giant ship is coming at Earth?
Well,
Shut up.
what's funny to me about it, because I like the show too, but the little how they have really, really great technology and then really, really mid technology at the same time. And
right.
I think that that's an interesting like, so for example, when Boy Genius is watching through the eyes of the other people, it's like the two holes. It's like he's like
It's pretty
literally watching
crappy.
through like he's got like a peephole in their eyes, and it's not just like a screen, you know? And I just think that that's funny because, like you said, it's just this massive amount of technology, and then he's like peeping through holes, like like a screen or something. You know, I just thought that was like a nod to the fact that like when this movie was first made was 19 what like or when Alien was made was like 1978 or 79, right?
Right.
And so they're they are in a way trapped in what you could show in 1978 and 79,
Right.
you know. And I mean it's the trope of like with Star Wars where like the prequels had better ships than like than the original
Right.
trilogy, right?
Yeah.
And that's because the technology to show them got so much better, you know. So I just think that that's funny because another thing I'll notice, and I'll go back to Bueller's. I didn't
Oh,
want to
it's all good. It's all good.
mess him up too much, but the original shot of them it's like standing around or sitting around the table, I thought like the cinematography of it was very reminiscent of the first Alien.
Absolutely.
Did you guys notice that?
Yep.
And I thought that that was really cool. I thought
Yeah.
that was really cool. Anyway, sorry, Bueller, go ahead.
No, it's cool.
that
I
brings
kind of
up,
felt the
yeah.
same way when they were getting in their pods too, when they all were
Yeah.
laying on it. Yeah, I agree with
Right.
you.
And there's that, you know, I just looked up the actor, I can't even pronounce his name, Babo Cisse. He's the guy who plays Morrow, you know, the
Mhm.
android on the ship that comes down and captures the alien or something. I don't know who that guy is. I haven't seen him, I don't recall seeing him in anything else, but he has really killed it in this one.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Well,
he's
that's
like,
and I
he's
wanted to go
been-
back to that a little bit because with the brother with the alien like skipping over him all the time, we saw Marrow go face to face with the alien and the alien skip over him.
Mhm.
So that's why I think there's something there with
Mm.
the brother that we don't know yet. That
Mhm.
we'll find out later.
Yes, there's
Uh,
something, yeah, because he did
yeah.
say like they sense fear or something. You know?
Right.
That's what he said, but I mean I also feel like they kind of like were based on movement and heat signatures and shit like that in the past too.
Right.
Maybe I'm way off base, but
I'm gonna let him tell the story. Like they've earned my trust, I think, with
Yeah.
these
yeah,
two
yeah,
episodes.
I agree with that. But my last thing that I want to say is with the sense with Wendy and the Lost Children. By the way, I love the black guy when they were doing the whole group setting. Dude, that guy was such a fucking child. I have to applaud the way he acted in that scene, man. Just flopping around, just being a goddamn kid. He did great. But so you have when you transpose a child into this adult body, and Wendy already said it, like I don't like these when she grabbed her boobs, and like what are these? That kind of, because they're kids in adult bodies, and they're trying to give us that information, and I can appreciate that. But you're also giving children unlimited strength and like at least what they have the technology for. These kids are limitless.
Mhm.
If you've ever had a child, the idea of giving them limitless
Right.
strength and abilities is stupid. You
Yeah,
would
well, I think that's
never
certainly
do
part of the like moral conundrum of this show is like, is this really a good idea? Like that's
Mhm.
good science fiction. Is kind of
it
like
is, but
Yeah.
like they have the technology to dial it back too. So
mm,
it would I would think that if you had that technology to do that, then you would give them like, okay, if they can go up to a 10, let's go ahead because they're kids. Let's
no,
give them
that would have been an interesting thing, like having some kind of governor, you know, in
yeah,
the
yeah.
unit where
Right.
it like it reduces your abilities or something. And
That
we may
was my
still see
thought.
something like that. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah,
And
and I mean,
I'll end on that.
it's gonna be interesting to see how it all unfolds, you know, because this is all happening before everything else. So they're obviously, it seems like they don't still have these people, you know, going around like children in adult bodies in the alien universe. So maybe something happens, you know.
Right. And
Very
I do feel like they kind of gave away the game a little bit when they said in the beginning, they're like it's these three rival technologies, the cyborgs, the hybrids, and the synths. Which one is going to win? Well, we kind of know which one is going to win,
Mhm.
right? Wayland Yutani is going to win because they're the company that's around in 50 years, you know.
Yeah.
And they're the what? The synths?
Since, yeah.
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 Well, they
So
also have, they didn't mention it, but what was the name of the company in Alien Isolation that had like the sense that were like really old school, Sequel or something?
yeah, I can't remember, but yeah,
Yeah.
there was
So
another company.
I wonder if they
That's
treat
a
it
good
like
point too,
canon or
though,
not.
because you had the guy in the original Alien. What the fuck?
In
The guy,
the first one?
yeah, the android guy.
Oh,
Yeah,
Ash.
yeah.
Yeah.
The game. His name was Ash.
Oh no, that was Lance Hendrickson. That was in the second movie.
Oh, and
That
aliens.
was the second.
That was
Okay.
in the second
Oh,
one, yeah, with the knife thing.
Yeah. Okay.
He was
So
like the fixed synth. He was like the synth that was
oh,
like
he was a
Ash.
Sith. He was a
Yeah, he
Sith.
was a synth. Ash in the first movie wigged out, and then supposedly Lance Hendrickson. What was his name? I forget his name in the
I
movie.
Ian
thought it was
Holm.
Data, but Data's Star Trek, so I don't know.
No, the synth's name in Aliens in the second
Oh,
movie.
Bishop.
Bishop. Bishop.
Yeah.
Bishop. Yes.
He was like supposedly fixed, like he couldn't hurt anybody.
Okay.
So what that tells me is that synths win. You know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah.
the technology
Right.
that wins out. But we'll see. Maybe there's some more wrinkles to it. Eric, I know you still had more you wanted to say.
Yeah, so I dug it. I like when the second episode ended, I was like, shit. I didn't want it to end. I wanted to keep going. But
I kind of felt the same way.
I did kind of think what you guys were thinking, which is like she better go down there like and just pick up pieces of him at this point.
Mm,
And that is the difficulty. It's like when they make superhero movies with like the Flash or something, is like sometimes he can go so fast that he can go back in time. And then other times they're like, oh, we checked him out and he's going 2,200 miles. Well, those are two insanely different speeds, And so when you have a monster that is killing an entire apartment full of people in 10 seconds, or when the guy was in the elevator and it got out, it killed like all five of those dudes in like
So fast.
yeah,
two
it just
seconds.
jumped up in the air and did like a
So
spin kick. It's
Yeah,
all.
it just did like a whirly whirl or something. It just everybody was cut in half and body parts were flying all over the place. And it's like, but this guy is surviving or like, makes it to the end of the hallway to get into the elevator. I'm like, okay, like three times he
Right.
got in the face of this thing and lived. Okay, this is getting kind of silly. So so I definitely agree with you guys there. I thought the kids were really good. I thought Wendy was dope. Trying to think of all the stuff. We already talked about the technology difference. That was kind of a funny thing to me.
So you weren't impressed with Timothy Oliphant, you were saying
No, I
earlier.
just felt like there was a couple of things that I noticed, and I'm just being an asshole, I think, because like there was a scene where they're all sitting by the computer and they're watching Wendy watch her brother,
Mm.
right? And he's scratching his nose, and I'm like, oh, is the synth itchy? Is that what it is? The synth is itchy, huh? He's got
I
an
didn't
itchy
even
nose.
catch that. That's
Yeah,
funny.
and I'm just kind of like, okay, you're a robot, dude. You're a robot.
I do want to say
You don't
because
have an
It's
itchy
a
nose.
robot designed to act like a human.
Yeah.
so
Oh, okay, there you go. There you go.
Timothy
Um,
Oliphant is one of those actors. I just forgot to say this earlier. Where like I don't ever seek out his movies, but if he shows up in a show or a movie, I'm like, oh, awesome.
I think that
Yeah.
I'm the
Yeah,
same way.
yeah.
I know we're gonna do a spotlight on him later. But
Yeah.
I would
Next week, spotlight Timothy Oliphant. That's
I
what we're
would
doing.
agree with Bueller that he's not so like, oh, Timothy Olyphant's in it, I'm gonna watch it. But if he's in it, it's usually a plus.
Yep.
It's usually a
Yeah.
plus. So that um
He never shows up, and I'm like, oh.
yeah, exactly.
Kinda-
Exactly.
Kind of similar to what we were talking about before with Michael Madsen. Like
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
Michael
Right.
Madsen's in the movie, it's like, oh man, cool. All right.
It's a pleasant surprise.
Another thing I like that I'm not sure I don't think anybody talked about was I like that they got the secret out of the way. That she's his sister.
Right.
And that's
Yeah.
not just
Yeah.
something that just eats for like 6 episodes.
Right.
And they're just constantly tiptoeing over it. Yeah, dude, I loved it. I loved it. I loved it so much I rewound it and watched that again. I watched it
Yeah.
again because I was like, well done. Get it out of the way. I don't want it to be something where she's constantly tiptoeing around it for like 6 episodes. Get it out of the way. Cool. They had a nice little kind of tender moment. He asked her some questions. I was like,
And
Perfect.
now the dynamic is a lot more interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Than just like
Yes.
keeping it as a mystery.
so good on them. I like when they do that. I think a lot of times shows will overplay those kind of things and just let it go for episodes and episodes. I mean, we've talked I know I've talked to you guys about it when we're in person, when I talk about that show, Ghosts, I love Ghosts. And one of the reasons I love it is because the husband believes her.
Mm.
And I think it would get old super fast if every episode was just hijinks. And then the husband was like, okay, honey, yeah, a ghost is doing it. Like, that would be so dumb. But yet other shows have done that, right? Like there was
Right.
another show recently that I was watching with my wife, where uh um, um her name's America something, and she was a obituary writer, and whenever she would get a new obituary, she would be able to see that ghost for the time that she was doing
Mm.
the obituary. I
Hmm.
thought it was a really cool idea, but it only lasted 2 seasons, and I think part of it was because she didn't tell anybody
Mm.
for 2 seasons. She has like 3 best friends, all this kind of stuff, and you're just waiting for her to like finally share it with somebody. And I think it just got old, and I think
Mm.
people moved on. So anyway, long-winded. I really enjoyed the fact that they
Yeah.
got the secret out of the way. Now, like you said, comes with a cool dynamic. Um, I don't know. I liked it. I think if I knew more of the lore, I would like it even more.
Mm.
I've seen Aliens. I've seen Aliens. I've seen Alien. I've seen Aliens. I've seen Prometheus.
Right.
Um, but that's about. I mean, I've seen Alien 3 and 4, but we don't speak about that, right?
Yeah. We don't talk
And
about those movies.
Yeah.
AVP, does AVP fit in this at all?
I hope not.
So yeah, I don't think it's going to. I mean,
right,
I mean,
right. So
they probably won't mention it, but like not like a predator is going to show up in episode
right.
7. That's what I'm saying.
so
But
for example, an example would be when they started talking about the free companies. I was
Mm.
just like, man, this should hit so much harder for me
Mm.
than it did. And I'm sure it hit for Jubal and Alex, but for me, I was like, oh, I feel like I missed out. I feel like I
Mm.
missed out because I should have been like, oh, oh, oh,
No, I
and I
no, I
just
don't think
wasn't.
I don't think that we've heard of those companies before.
Well,
Okay,
well,
good.
you said,
Okay.
Jubal, you said Yontani or whatever it is the one that survives,
Wayland
right?
Yutani is the one that's throughout the
well,
Alien
we're
franchise.
assuming
Yeah.
that because they're the
Yeah,
one that.
so when you hear that in the beginning, you'd be like, "Oh shit!" Like Eric's saying, when you hear
Right.
that in the beginning, like that name. But for me and Eric, we're like, it's 3 companies. I don't know.
But then again, you don't know what's going to happen. Like they could turn
Right.
into a huge conglomerate. You know what I mean?
Right.
It could all
So,
be
Oh
like
yeah, exactly.
and
Like
that's the
buy
other
them
thing
out or something. Who knows?
is like I feel like I'm missing out, but also I feel like sometimes when you don't know stuff, you can enjoy the story being told in more of a pure way
right.
too. So
I
it's
mean,
it's a 6 of one, half dozen of the other sometimes,
Mm.
yeah.
It's like
But I mean, most of the elements that are being introduced here seem to be pretty new to the show itself. You
Right.
know,
To the
like I
universe.
said, in the
yeah.
movies, it's always just kind of been very, very hinted at, but not really in depth at all. And now it kind of feels like, Noah Hawley's really taking a vibe from Blade Runner and putting it into Alien,
Right.
which is like
It
that's
does
pretty
feel like
awesome.
that. Yeah.
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 But yeah, so I'm really looking forward to episode 3.
I
Yeah.
am as well. I think that's 4 or 8 thumbs up
Yep.
from the Cult Fiction crew on Alien Earth.
I
So
do have a question for our resident sports guy. When the brother was listening to the game on his earphones, do you think as a sports guy he was listening to an old game, or is that something new that was happening like in the series?
It had to be old because the game he was listening to, if I'm not mistaken, is from 1978.
mhm,
There you go.
So my
yeah.
guess would be that it's probably a game that his father watched with his grandfather.
Mhm.
And his father was like, this is the game that got me to enjoy sports, so I'm gonna watch it with my son. That's what I
Yeah,
would guess
it
without
would have to be even older than that because
yeah.
this
So
this
because
is
I don't know
like
the timeline,
it's
right?
100 years. It's 2140.
Oh, it's 2140,
Is
then
it,
yeah,
isn't that what
definitely.
it said? It was
So
like 20.
that's why I'm wondering. I'm wondering if this character is listening to games in order because he fell in love with the game, because he seemed surprised when the guy hit a 2-run homer, right? He was
Mhm.
like, yes. Uh, so I don't know. He seemed like he didn't know that was coming. So I'm wondering if he found like old games to
Yeah.
listen to chronologically, and so he's falling in love with the game. And
So there, I think you guys are talking about two different things. The game where Reggie Jackson hits the third home run is a game from 1978, right?
Correct.
But the game that he was listening to in real time might have been a new baseball game.
oh, that's what I was talking
Yeah.
about. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yes. Then we're talking about two different things. Yeah, I was talking about the one that he was watching with his dad. Sorry.
Right.
Oh yeah,
Right.
no, the one that he was listening to in his earbuds, where Wilson hit a 2-run homer. I was kind of wondering if he was listening to like old tapes of games, but he was listening to them in order because he
Yeah,
felt.
there's no reason to think baseball is going anywhere. I mean, 100 years from
Yeah.
now, it'll still be going.
I mean,
You
dude, with the way that timeline looks though, and that world looks, I don't know if there's time for sports, but who knows?
know? There's always time for baseball.
Yeah. There's
All
always
right.
time to keep the masses, you know.
Yeah, keep the bread and circuses rolling.
Right,
So
exactly.
next week on Cult Fiction, we're going to be doing a spotlight on Timothy Oliphant. So tune in for that. And with that, we're out of here. Go watch Alien Earth if you haven't already. See you later, guys.
Word.